Adding a vignette effect to a selection in Adobe Photoshop. So a vignette is where we have a border that fades or sort of feathers into the surrounding background or imagery. There are multiple methods to create a vignette. Probably the simplest, though, is to take one of your selection tools, whether it be an elliptical or the rectangular marquee tool. You can also freehand draw with the lasso tool. I'm going to use the elliptical marquee tool. And again, I can click and drag. Remember, if I hold the Shift key down, that creates a constraint of a perfect circle when I'm dragging my marquee. If I miss the target, I can always add my space bar in addition to the Shift and holding my mouse down to reposition my selection. Now with the vignette, we are going to feather, so I have to be aware of where I'm positioning this marquee on my image. Notice that I am a little bit close to the top here, so I don't want to get any closer or my vignette won't work. So I let up on all my keys and I have my selection. Now, if I were thinking before drawing my selection with my marquee tool, I could have put in a feather right up here in the options bar. So you can put your feather in and that would feather the edges. Now a note, if you use feather here in the options bar, it is one of those sticky commands, and so Photoshop will remember it. And I've had many students wonder why the next time they're using Photoshop 2-3 days later, their selections aren't working. It's because Photoshop has remembered that you set a feather. It doesn't reset it. You have to reset it yourself. Now if I didn't put a feather in initially, not a problem. I can go under the select menu here at the top and I can go to modify, and here I have feather. Same exact thing, exactly the same. So if you think prior to creating your selection, do it in the options bar. If you think, oh, afterwards I need to put a feather in, do it through the select menu, modify, and feather. So here I can put my radius. And we'll just experiment. We'll stick with this 40 that I had entered in here. Click OK. Initially, you won't see anything. If you have a really small selection, you might see that it grows slightly after you apply a feather, but in this case, I didn't see anything happening. Now, to apply the vignette effect, again, multiple ways to do it. One way is to go under my layer menu and create a layer mask. So here we can either reveal all or hide all. I don't want either one. I want to reveal my selection. So whatever's inside of that selection, those dancing ants, I want to show that. So I'm going to choose reveal selection. And there's the vignette effect with my feather of 40. So that means in 40 pixels, it's fading out. And you can see over in my layers panel, on this specific layer, I now have what's called a layer mask. Black areas hide, white areas show. I'm going to undo just with the Command or Control Z. While keeping my same selection, another method that I can use to apply a layer mask to create the vignette effect is to go down here at the bottom. We do have a Add Layer Mask icon at the bottom of the layers panel, and by default it is set to reveal the selection or the selected area. So if I click, same exact thing happens. I get a layer mask, black hiding, white reveals, and because my selection had a feather applied, I get the fading out effect. So the higher your feather, the more fading will occur. So that's how you can add a simple vignette effect to a selection.